You know what it is. Back on my grind. Yesterday, I gave it a break when I was dealing with the situation. I gave it some time because that's what happens when you're doing research and I'm actually looking into what's going on and understanding the bigger picture. Because getting the bigger picture is the difference between a king and then someone who never really reaches the peak they should. But after investigation and thoroughly checking out the issue, and why also I took time to watch other YouTubers, I gained a better view on my approach on understanding. I always hold off because I get emotion is the first thought, especially when it involves pro abuse or pro alleged rape or abuse. But we're going to talk quickly about the factors, okay? So this one's on the factors of what I've read in the documentation and what's actually going on. Let's be real, okay? Now let's take it back to DJ Akademiks' interview. In the interview, he just mentioned slightly about getting a few months probation. Then he was saying it was some chick that, he met and he was out a few places and different things. And it honestly was downplaying the whole instance on how this occurred. First off, we're going to just go through the facts. Number one, your homie Rico, that's who you met this girl through. So this girl wasn't checking for you. She wasn't looking for you. She didn't know who Charlamagne was, okay? So she ended up where you were, checking out what you were doing on the mic because you worked at some radio station as a 23-year-old man. And what's crazy to me is you met her and she states that you look for her number, and you admitted the same thing. You said that, you checked with your homeboy. It was like, who's that chick? Kind of like checking for her. Now, what I don't get is if I'm checking for someone and the moment I find out, oh, she's 15, I would have stopped checking for her. So this story should end right there. Let's keep it 100. This story should end right there. As a man, listen, I was 19, dubbing 16-year-olds bad Brazilian, thick. She's thicker than most people's wives I see today. And she told me she was 16. I whipped the car around to her crib, said, get out. Because that's what a man does. You don't keep pursuing her, because even though you know she's underage, don't matter how she looked. She said, I'm sick. That's why this story should end there. That's why it's hard for me to be civil about it. The moment she said, I'm 15, 16, skirt, I would have slammed the brakes. Like, you ever seen them, those shows where they slam on the brakes and they're like, whoa, because something happened? I would have slammed on the brakes, reverse, back to your house. And I did that many times. That's why it's hard for me to have any type of leeway in this story. But let's be objective. Let's go through the story. So you don't do that. You're like, oh, she's bad. I'm going to still see what's up. You go visit the house. You hang out. You get to know her family. Now, number one, here's where we get the her part. How did the mother let him in the house with her? That's confusing. You knew his age. You knew he was over 19. Well over 19. And you were cool with it. So we need to hear something from the mother. Like, what was going on? I don't want to hear that. What was going on? And, one person I want to give a shout to is Tommy Sotomayor out of course, Star releasing that groundbreaking media. Then you have Tommy Sotomayor, like, I get what he's saying. His was the most sensible. Mom, what were you thinking? So you were cool with this 23-year-old coming in chatting with your 15-year-old. You knew that. You knew he was 23. Why would he be hanging out with them? Why would you have allowed that? He can't even be faulted because you allowed that part. In that instance of him making contact with a 15-year-old, he can't be faulted for that. Because you condoned it as a parent. And if he was going to pay for that part, you should have paid for that part. I don't get that part. That part escapes me. Because I know I dub many women, many sexy women, even today, they are sexier than ever because their age. Are you kidding me? I don't get that part. That part kind of leaves me at all. I'm like, what? Not only that, now we're back to Charlamagne. Why would you keep visiting the house? You found out she's 15. You found out, you know what I mean, the mom's cool with it, but you didn't feel weird about that? Listen, I was 19 dubbing these chicks. I couldn't imagine being over 21 still checking for these chicks. Listen, I guess some people got it and some people don't. I was more involved with chasing women that were out here, and rather than visiting underage women when I was nearer to their age, closer to their age than you were. So it just, I don't know, that just boggles my mind. I guess it's about not letting up on opportunity, but that's what we're going to get into. I'm not going to focus on this. Of course, I always bring a solution and an understanding, but let's get back to the story. So she claims the third time, allegedly, you pick her up, and her friend, and you take them to a party that didn't turn out to be a party, but they ended up in a house. Now, she claims you went and made drinks for them. So you went and made them both drinks. That's where we're going to stop too. So not only are we cool with this being an underage woman, but you're okay with providing drinks, and they're not even 17, 18. These girls aren't even 19. They're 15. Anytime, and we're talking about college days, if I knew they weren't 21, if they were 18 trying to drink up in our spot and they were acting sloppy, most of them came drunk. They got kicked out. We weren't just allowing 18, 19-year-olds sloppy drunk running up in the spot. No. They came up the steps and then they were out the back door, down the steps. Peace. Because what would happen is the police would sit in the parking lot near the school. They would catch drunk people walking across, freshmen that were drunk, and they'd make them rat out who did it. And they'd rush fraternity houses. So I'm well aware of that lifestyle. So for them to be 15 and you have to have even watched them take a sip, it bothers me. That bothers me. And this is all in the paperwork. That bothers me. You admitted to supplying alcohol to these minors. That bothers me. Because they're not even 16 or 17. You can't even say I thought they were 18 because you knew they weren't 16. That bothers me. See, and that plays a lot on character. And you said you were 23. Listen, I'm not that far away from that age as today. Not nearly as far as you are. But at the same time, it's one of them things where it comes down to character. Your character was that sullied then. You couldn't go find a sexy 18-year-old or 19-year-old and you're over 21. That's a little shaky. That's shaky, my friend. You know, I was 21 bagging 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds left and right. I don't get, there's many, even if you said your game's not, say you were like, my game wasn't that nice then. There was so many outlets you could reach out to find women around your age. I just don't, I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling that regardless of what you're trying to say and excuse it. To say that they're not even, honestly, these are almost preteens that you were messing with, man. I don't care how they look. This is damn near a preteen before anything. That's the bothersome part. Now we're moving forward in it, and they said they felt woozy after drinking. Let's say nothing happened to the drinks. Well, they're going to feel woozy if they're minors drinking. How many times do you think a minor went out to an alcoholic party and was drinking? Very few. But that's why guys do that. And listen, this is why you can't tell me nothing about this. Because I was part of a fraternity. I seen all of that. But they were 18. These girls were 15, 16. That's why my mind's blown. Like, we had 18-year-olds who barely drunk. But you're telling me she was 15 and you allowed her to drink? I don't know. That's a little shaky to me. And even if you're saying it's past, it's 15, 16 years ago, this is a question of character right now. I'm questioning character because that's the only thing that's on trial. That's the only thing that is in question. What was your character like? What were you really doing? I mean, you know these girls are 15, 16. They're not even 18. 21's the legal age to drink. What were you thinking? You know what I mean? And I'm supposed to have massive respect for someone who has done something like this. I mean, I was 19 dubbing situations like this. But you were 22 to 23. You could say 22 and a half, but the document said 23. Are you kidding me? And then mom, you're telling me you didn't want her to go through the situation. Why? Your daughter told you, Mom, I was violated. And you're okay with the fact that she doesn't get up there and tell her piece to get justice for what occurred to her? That is the craziest part of it all. And you know, I wanted to be upset at Charlamagne. You know, I really did. But when I look at that part, that's what really begins to make sense to me. That's what really makes sense. It's where was the true maternal figure she needed? So right now, if she's going back to try and get justice for something she did, no one can really be mad at her because she wants justice for something she wasn't of age to fight for then. You really thought it was okay to let her pass on it? What was going on? There's more to this story. And I guarantee it starts with the mother. The mother has to explain that part. And that's me being respectful to you as the mother. We need an explanation. Where's her father? There's no father that would have heard a boy's 23 and let their 15-year-old daughter. If a 23-year-old came in, just for him kind of coming comfortable, I don't care what my wife said, what my girlfriend said. Me and her would have had a problem. If she's opening up to allow this girl to come into my place, my kingdom, and she's of that age, not 21, she knows that, and this guy's over 21, just chilling with her, we would have had a fight. It would have been a fight that definitely would have broke us up. I'm not saying it had to be physical, but I'm saying it would have been a nice fight that it would have been one to remember, to never let an older man, basically, in to see my preteen daughter. Are you kidding me? She was closer to preteen than she was to anything of an adult. It's like 2 years back, she's legally a preteen. 3 years up, she's considered an adult. What were you thinking? What were you really thinking? There's a lot of people in this situation that weren't thinking. You know what I mean? Aside from the lies that he's been caught in by multiple bloggers, multiple instances, even this paperwork. And I'm not saying he needs anything to pay for it now, but the question is, Mom, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? It's hard to even be mad at him. It's like, what were you thinking? Of course, listen, like I told you, his story should have ended the moment he found out she's 15. That's sketchy there. That's sketchy. Because like I told you, 3-year difference. I was 19, they 16. What? We spin the block. She gets kicked out. Yeah, there's women that lied about their age. She says she didn't lie about it. That's why I can't give no leeway. There's no variables to it. You say you're 16, we spin around and you're getting out my car. It's not, oh, well, you look good. Nah, there ain't none of that. I don't believe in that. That's my thing. It's all about beliefs. And let me say this again. Women, this has no shot on men. This isn't a shot on men. As Star said many times before, most males aren't men. That's the problem. They think, oh, this is manly, this is man. No, it's your decisions. It's your actions that make you manly. It's not like you gotta be tough. It's making the right decision. And that's what he didn't do. And that is why I said everything I said. So all those grown men hopping in the comments, protecting, save it. Because if someone who was a grown man over 21 was hitting on your teenage daughter, most people be like, oh, I get the strap, I do this. I seen y'all comments. Then y'all try to protect the situation. No, man. Most of y'all would have acted crazy over that. Y'all would have went psycho. Y'all would have made it a reason to try out your new weapon. Are you kidding me? And I know that because you guys are talking crazy in defense. Imagine if you were violated. What if somebody violated your family? What would you do? Y'all would do way more than what y'all acting like. And I know that. That's why most of y'all can't even talk. Man, this whole thing is just sketchy. Just this whole situation don't make no sense. And that's my problem with a lot of males that call themselves men. Want to call themselves defending the situation. Well, if I was in it. Well, if you were in it and you were the father, what would you do? Then they're like, oh, well, I wasn't, but if it... Nah, get out of here with that. Get out of here with that. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you don't have to follow me. Because I'm not with no pro-abuse, pro-rape type shit. Ain't none of that. You know what I mean? Ain't none of that. We don't do that here. That's not what we're here. And it ain't about a Me Too movement. It's about being a man movement. Say that. Most of y'all need to go check out the man mindset anyway. Most of y'all aren't even prepared on what to do, how to work with women your age. That's why you're aiming for younger crowds, because they're easily influenced. That's why. I know why. I know why you did it. Because I was in the same situation, easily influenced. I could have easily said, oh, nah, that's cool. She would have went along with it. But here's the craziest part. I wouldn't have had to drug nothing. I wouldn't have had to get him drunk just to get some. That's why I don't respect it most. If you got to use alcohol and drugs just to get laid, hang it up. Hang it up. You ain't got it, you ain't got it, bro. I can't think of one situation I had to get her drunk or high just to be intimate with her. Never. Never. She did it because she wanted to. I never even offered that to girls I was with. They see me drinking, they wanted to drink. But they were of age. And I'm talking about of age women with drinking and doing whatever. I never had to offer that just to get some. And that's my problem. A lot of guys got the game messed up. And I guess they still got it messed up. It's all about decisions. It's all about what you do to be a better man. So in this situation, you got away with it. You know what I mean? Let me not put it that way. It went away because she had a mother in her life that obviously wasn't thinking or had no knowledge on what to truly do. Your daughter got violated. Why wouldn't you speak up? Who wouldn't speak up? How do you skip? Mother, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? And this should not reflect on Jessica. It shouldn't reflect on her. If she wants justice, let her find her peace and justice however she finds it. She wasn't of age to make the decision then. Maybe she can make it now. And the only reason she did it is because she saw those interviews that you were doing and it was coming out and they were lies. And that's the only fact I can say right here. That was a lie. The things you said you did in the time periods, all of that was a lie. Even down to your age. Even what age you said you were was a lie. That's crazy. If you told the truth with your age and how many months probation, do you know it would be nearly impossible for people to blame you in this situation? But you found out from your homie it was the chick he came with. How come Rico wasn't chasing down the smasher? Did he have more sense than you? How old was he? Not that he's involved in the situation, but maybe you should have got some sense from Rico. Because Rico was chilling with her, but obviously he gave the number to you, so he wasn't hunting it down. He probably said, a 15-year-old? Somebody, if you had any real friends around you, one of them gave you that look. Like, she's 15. Really? That's what gets me the most, man. That's what hits me up here. You knew the age, but you're still going to slide with her. Oh, she's open. And then she said, listen, she said she looked at you and you told her you were feeling her, and she said she didn't feel you that way. You got dubbed by this 15-year-old, and you chose an alternative, allegedly. This 15-year-old dubbed you like that. Now, I've been dubbed, and we strike out. You should have been taking your strikeouts with women your age. Really? And everything's changed now, but bruh, ain't no leeway in this situation. You take your part, she takes her part, and deals with it how she can. But I'm talking to her mom. You got some explaining to do. You got some explaining. You knew he was over 21. You knew she was 15. What's going on? What's happening? Because this is really your shine time, man. I don't know what you were thinking. I didn't hear your name mentioned, but what were you thinking? What were you thinking? Where's her father? Even if he's not there, what were you thinking? You allowed this man into your humble abode with your nearly preteen daughter. Is he at fault? All rights reserved.